The crystalline halls of the Galactic Council chambers resonated with an uncomfortable silence as Ambassador Zexthul of the Dominion Empire stood before the assembled representatives. His scaled hide rippled with barely contained arrogance as he dismissed the urgent warnings that had filled the past 3 cycles of meetings. "Enough of this fear-mongering," Zexthul's voice boomed through the translation matrices. "These humans you speak of are nothing more than a primitive species that barely achieved faster-than-light travel 50 of their years ago. The Dominion has conquered 1,000 worlds. What could these hairless apes possibly do to us?" Elder Cathera, the ancient ethereal who had served on the council for over 2 millennia, raised one of her 6 arms in a gesture of grave concern. Her luminous form flickered with distress patterns that even the newest species could recognize as genuine fear. "Ambassador Zexthul, you misunderstand the nature of the threat. It is not their technology we fear, it is their unpredictability. In all our galactic history, we have never encountered a species quite like them. The Vorthan representative, a being of pure energy contained within a mechanical shell pulsed with agreement. The humans call it thinking outside the box. When faced with impossible odds, they do not calculate surrender probabilities like rational beings. They find alternatives." Zexthul's mandibles clicked in what his species considered laughter. "Alternatives? Against the might of our Imperial fleet? We have been expanding across this galaxy for 3,000 years while they were still discovering fire. Our ships number in the millions, our warriors are bred for conquest, our weapons can crack moons. What alternatives could possibly threaten us?" "Perhaps," interjected the soft, melodious voice of Ambassador Lyrian from the peaceful collective, "you should review the historical records of their conflicts among themselves. The humans have a saying, if you're going through hell, keep going. They do not surrender, Ambassador. They adapt." The massive form of General Vrak, the Dominion's chief military advisor, stepped forward. His forearms were crossed in a gesture of supreme confidence. "Adaptation means nothing against overwhelming force. Our invasion fleet departed yesterday. Within 1 standard month, the human homeworld of Earth will be under Dominion control, and this council's paranoid warnings will be exposed as the cowardice they truly are." Elder Kithera's form dimmed to its deepest shade of blue, a color that, in her species, indicated profound sorrow for the soon-to-be dead. "Then you have doomed yourselves and possibly us all." 28 standard days later, the emergency session of the Galactic Council was called to order amid chaos unlike anything in recorded galactic history. The few surviving Dominion ships that had managed to escape the Sol system transmitted their final reports before limping to the nearest council station. Admiral Thok, commander of the Dominion's 3rd Fleet, appeared via holographic projection. His once proud bearing was broken, his scales dulled with defeat and disbelief. Half of his face was covered in medical gel from burns sustained during his flagship's emergency evacuation. "The invasion failed," he began, his voice barely above a whisper. "No, not failed. Failed implies we had a chance. We were outsmarted, outmaneuvered, outthought by a species that shouldn't have been capable of resistance." The council chamber fell silent except for the ambient hum of life support systems. "Tell us what happened," Elder Kithera requested gently, though her form had shifted to the deep crimson that indicated she already knew the answer would be terrible. Admiral Thok's remaining eye stared at something beyond the holographic display. "We approached their system exactly as planned. Our scouts reported minimal orbital defenses, no significant military installations beyond their moon. Their largest ships were cargo vessels and exploration craft. By every logical analysis, victory was assured within hours." He paused, his breathing labored. "The humans, they didn't fight us in space. They let us approach. They let us enter orbit. They let us begin bombardment preparations. And then," his voice cracked, "they turned their moon into a weapon." Shocked gasps and untranslatable exclamations echoed throughout the chamber. "Impossible," General Vrak snarled. "Celestial bodies cannot be weaponized by primitive. They hollowed it out." Admiral Thok screamed, his composure finally breaking. Over decades, in secret, they had been mining it, installing massive engines, turning it into the largest kinetic weapon ever conceived. While we were positioning our fleet for optimal bombardment patterns, they fired their moon at us like a bullet. The silence that followed was deafening. The gravitational disruption alone scattered our formation. Ships were pulled into each other, into the planet's atmosphere, into the sun itself. But that wasn't the end. As our surviving vessels tried to regroup, their seemingly defenseless cargo ships revealed themselves to be disguised warships. Their exploration vessels opened hidden weapon bays. Even their civilian population centers began firing missiles we never detected being built. Ambassador Zexthul, who had remained silent throughout the report, finally found his voice. How many ships survived? Of the 12,000 vessels in our invasion force, Admiral Thok replied, fewer than 300 escaped the system. And as we fled, we detected them already beginning to rebuild their moon. They were laughing on their communication channels, laughing and celebrating as they planned their retaliation. Elder Cathara's form had now shifted to the purest white, the color her species displayed when facing a truth too large to comprehend. And that, Ambassador Zexthul, is why we warned you to dread the humans. They do not simply fight, they innovate warfare itself. They do not merely defend, they turn defense into offense in ways that defy all conventional military doctrine. The Dominion ambassador's proud bearing crumbled entirely. What do we do now? Now, the elder replied, her ancient voice heavy with the weight of inevitability. We prepare for the humans to visit us, and we pray to whatever deities we serve that they prove more merciful than we would be in their position. As the emergency session concluded, and representatives rushed to contact their homeworlds, a single message was broadcast simultaneously to every inhabited system in the galaxy. Attention! The Galactic Council hereby issues a Code Omega, warning regarding the species known as humans from the Sol system. These beings have demonstrated capabilities that exceed all previous threat assessments. Any hostile action against them is strictly forbidden. Diplomatic contact only. Approach with extreme caution and above all respect. They do not forgive, they do not forget, and they do not fight wars. They redefine them. The message concluded with a single phrase in the human's own language, one that every species in the galaxy would soon learn to fear. Don't poke the bear.